I remember the moment my life changed forever. It was a chilly evening in Paris, the kind where the shadows seemed to stretch and curl like fingers reaching for warmth. I was just 3 years old, a lost child wandering the streets, my stomach growling with hunger and my heart pounding with fear. That's when they found me. The organization, known as Les Ombres, promised safety and belonging. I was taken in by a woman named Madame Eveline, who had a heartwarming smile and a voice that soothed my frazzled nerves. "We'll take care of you," she said, her eyes twinkling with kindness. Little did I know, those words would become the chains that bound me. At first, life in Les Ombres felt like a dream. They provided food, shelter, and even affection. Yet, as the days turned into weeks, the reality began to reveal itself. The organization claimed to save children from the streets, but I soon learned that they were creating something far more sinister. Self-defense, they called it. Training sessions became my reality. I was taught to fight, to move silently, to eliminate threats. Each lesson chipped away at my innocence, molding me into something unrecognizable. The training was brutal. I remember the first time I held a knife. It felt foreign in my small hand, heavy with the weight of what it represented. Yet, as the instructors shouted commands, I found myself obeying without question. Each cut, each strike, was a step further away from the child I once was. "Focus zero," they would yell. "You are not just a boy, you are a weapon." I was 10 when they handed me my first assignment. The target was a rival gang member who had crossed Les Ombres. As I looked into his eyes, filled with fear and confusion, I felt a surge of something unsettling. Was it power? Or was it the last remnants of my humanity slipping away? As the years passed, I became known as one of the best assassins in the organization. Yet, each kill left a scar on my soul. I was a ghost, walking among the living, with no one to share my burden. I began to distance myself from the others, afraid of what my heart might reveal. In the midst of this darkness, I found a flicker of light in Lila, a girl who shared my pain. We formed a bond that felt like a lifeline, but trust was a rare commodity in Les Ombres. When Lila attempted to escape, they caught her. I still hear her screams echoing in my mind, a haunting reminder of what happens to those who dare defy the organization. With each successful mission, I climbed the ranks, becoming the go-to assassin for high-stakes jobs. The name Zero became synonymous with fear. I was cold, calculated, and efficient, a true product of my environment. But underneath the cool facade, I wrestled with the ghosts of my past. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was losing my soul. One fateful night, I stumbled upon a hidden file that revealed Les Ombres' true intentions. They weren't just assassins. They were a crime syndicate, engaged in trafficking and extortion. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. I was part of something monstrous. Amidst the chaos, a rival organization emerged, threatening to dismantle Les Ombres. I was tasked with infiltrating their ranks, a dangerous game that could shatter my already fragile existence. I found myself living a double life, gathering intelligence while battling internal demons. I convinced myself that by eliminating threats, I was saving other children, but with every kill, I felt a piece of me die. The rationalizations became harder to swallow, and the line between good and evil blurred beyond recognition. The assignments escalated, leading to high-profile targets and public chaos. I became known for my precision, but the thrill of the kill began to turn sour. I was a weapon, but the recoil of my actions left me reeling. In the midst of the darkness, I met Camille, whose laughter pierced through my cold exterior. For a brief moment, I tasted what it meant to be human again. But love in Les Ombres was a dangerous game. When they discovered our relationship, Camille was punished in a way that left me broken. After a particularly brutal mission, I found myself standing over an innocent victim. In that moment, a flood of memories crashed over me. My childhood, the love I had lost, the innocence I had sacrificed. I felt a flicker of humanity ignite within me, forcing me to confront the monster I had become. Determined to escape the clutches of Les Ombres, I sought out allies within the organization. We were all broken, but we shared a common goal: freedom. Together, we devised a plan to dismantle the organization from within. The coup was bloody and chaotic. We fought against our former mentors, the very people who had twisted us into killers. In a heart-stopping showdown, I came face to face with Madame Evelyn, the woman who had once promised me safety. With the organization crumbling, I was left to pick up the pieces of my shattered life. I couldn't erase the past, but I vowed to use my skills to protect those who were still trapped in the shadows. I began documenting the horrors of Les Ombres, gathering testimonies from other survivors. My goal was to expose the organization and ensure that no child would suffer as we had. The fallout from my revelations created a scandal that echoed throughout France. I was both a hero and a villain, but I ultimately faced the consequences of my actions. As I navigated life outside of Les Ombres, the past continued to haunt me. Nightmares plagued my sleep, reminding me of the lives I had taken and the innocence I had lost. Gradually, I started to transform my identity into something more than just a cold killer. I became an advocate for at-risk children, sharing my story to prevent others from falling into the same traps. Despite my efforts, remnants of Les Ombres still lurked in the shadows. I learned that some members had escaped justice and were plotting to regain power. With a renewed sense of purpose, I set out to confront the remnants of Les Ombres. The final showdown was a battle not just for my life, but for the souls of those who had suffered under their reign. In the aftermath, I found a new sense of belonging and purpose. I would not let the darkness consume me. Instead, I would be a light for others who had lost their way. I began advocating for societal change, urging people to see children from troubled backgrounds as victims deserving of compassion rather than fear. As I continued my work, I yearned for peace within myself and in the world around me. Healing was a long journey, but I was determined to find it. In the end, I stood as a symbol of hope, proving that even in the shadows, light can emerge. My name was now Zero, not just a cold killer, but a protector of the innocent.